Today, Saturday, the 8th of March 2025, we have some hand-picked match predictions to share with you, which of course will be backed up by some stats and analytics to help you make your picks in this list to boost your winning by a greater percent. And to those of you who want to have access to our hand-picked events based on our top list of corner kick match prediction picks, goals probability event, the NBA match prediction picks, as well as having access to our top-notch match prediction tutorials, which you want to take your winning to the next level, then you want to make sure to join the Level 2 Pro package membership package plan or the Level 3 master plan to have access to these features to take your winning to the next height. To those of you who want to join, the link is below this video description. You want to make sure to go ahead, navigate the link and join to become a member and start to have access to these features to take your winning to the next level. So without wasting time, let's proceed to the game event of today. But before we proceed, we want to say congratulations based on yesterday's event for we all registered wins. And I'll go ahead to share with you the tickets and the games we shared with you so that, of course, you're going to see the final result of what we had yesterday. So let's proceed.
Looking at all the 9 events we shared with you yesterday, they were all successful. Congratulations. And looking at the first, we looked at Singapore in the Premier League, Gillian International against Ballistia Cassia. We looked at 1.5 and 2.5 goal and even 3.5 goals. It ended as 4 against 3. A total of 7 goals were scored, making it a huge success. Congratulations, it was successful. In the next, we looked at Israel in the Liga Lumit, that is Lumit League, Hapior Kefa Shalem against Hapior Afula. We said that the home team is going to win, and as well as at least 1.5 goals in full time. It ended as 2 against 0, making the home team to lead. It was successful, and 1.5 goals was also successful. Congratulations. In the next, we looked at Croatia in the HNL, Rijeka against Šibenik. We said that at least there will be 1.5 goal in full time. It ended as 1 against 1, a total of 1.5 goals successful. Congratulations. In the next, we looked at Germany in the Bundesliga women, Eintracht Frankfurt women against SGS Essen. We said that 1.5 and 2.5 goals here will be possible. It ended as 2 against 1, a total of 3 goals, making 1.5 and 2.5 goals to be successful. Congratulations. In the next, we looked at Germany in the Regional Liga Southwest, Eintracht Frankfurt against Vedigen. We said there will be the possibility of 1.5 and 2.5 goals in full time and Eintracht leading. Both cases were true. 1.5 and 2.5 goal occurred, 6 against 0, and also 1.5 and 2.5 goals were possible. Successful. Congratulations. In the next, we looked at Germany in the Regional Liga Bayern, Bubach against Schwart Ulzberg. We said at least 1.5 or 2 goals over. Both cases 1.5 goal true, making it successful. It ended as 1 against 1. Successful. Congratulations. In the next, we looked at Esther Divise of Netherlands, Oos against Volendam. We said that Volendam will lead, and we also look at least 1.5 goals. Successful, and congratulations. It ended as 2 against 0. In the next, Saudi Arabia Professional League, Ali against Al Khalej. We said that there will be at least 1.5 or 2.5 goals. It ended as 2 against 2. A total of 4 goals were scored. Successful. Congratulations. In the next, Switzerland Challenge League, Ura against Zamax. We said that there will be at least 1.5 going full time, as well as giving a double chance for Urax or to lead. All cases were true, making 2 against 0 the home team leading, and at least 1.5 goals in full time. It was successful. All cases were true. Congratulations. And now let's proceed to the event of today.
And now let's look at the event for today. And before we proceed, I have a quick announcement to make. If you come here to the front page of our channel here, labeled as the home, you're going to notice that we provide match prediction for members only. And these are members only match prediction video tutorials, that is video picks we have made. And you can see that we shared games in terms of the top upcoming top pick predictions, goals match prediction picks, corner kicks event as well, and top upcoming games. And we also share to members only top-notch tutorials which you can use to take your winning to the next height. And to those of you who want to join, you want to make sure to also go ahead to become a member of either the Level 2 Pro plan or the Level 3 Master to have access to our handpick event and top-notch match prediction tutorial. For example, if you're a member of the Level 2 Pro plan, you're going to have access also to Level 2 Pro classes, which will give you access to the live match corner kick strategy you can use, a simple trick to make consistent winning, and also the never seen soccer match prediction strategy explained step by step to take your winning to the next height, comeback soccer betting strategy you have never seen before, and also the never seen tactical straight win and 2.5 goal strategy, finally, by 99% win rate to make consistent win. Having access to the Level 2 Pro will give you also access to the Level 2 Pro classes as well as our handpick event. Also, if you become a member of the Level 3 Master, of course, you're going to have access to Level 3 Master classes, which will give you access to the excellent corner kick strategy, which we have reviewed. Top secret AI tool we use to find games in terms of straight wins and goals probability, and also the game changer corner kick match prediction strategy that actually reveals the top secret website we use for corner kick picks and how we find the best picks choices to include in our sleep. Also, you're going to have access to the 6 amazing AI tool we use, followed by the home and away match prediction strategy explained step by step, and finally the 2.5 goal strategy to beat the bookies and win even more. So if you're a member of the Level 3 Master, you're going to have access also to the Level 3 Master classes, which will give you access to these tutorials in one place. To those of you who want to join, the link is below, and I'll put the link also so that once you join, you can watch all of these video tutorials in one place. Also, if you come to the front page of our channel and locate this area here that says video, you click on the video tab, you're also going to notice that we'll provide some match prediction strategy also for free to our members or to all our viewers. For example, if you come here, you're going to notice that we just published a tutorial which we titled it here as the 5 prediction apps which you can use, and we have explained some of the features they have which you can use for your advantage. This is the tutorial here, top 5 prediction app compared. Also, we have a tutorial which we have shared titled as the expert tip for winning soccer matches, and we explain some of the tips you can use to benefit from it and find games in terms of the strategy we have explained in this free video tutorial. And also, we have also explained another one which we have titled it as the hidden Sofascore features to win more bets. There are 5 hidden Sofascore features you never knew existed before. We have explained it in this tutorial. You want to make sure to watch that and benefit from what we have shared. And that being said, let's now move to the first game of our today's list. Looking at the first event, we looked at England in the Premier League, a match between Liverpool against Southampton. For this particular event, the recent performance of Liverpool at home have proved to be very amazing. They had straight wins, and with a good rating, Newcastle, Wolves 2, 2, 4, and 4 in recent event they have had, and also in the Champions League where they proved to be good. All the recent games they have had have proved that they are very offensive. And looking at that of Southampton, on the other hand, the defensive line is not very good. And of course, they had games with teams like Chelsea, Ipswich, and Nottingham where they had a lose against Chelsea. But Liverpool, the form of Liverpool recently is better as compared to that of Chelsea. If Chelsea could beat Southampton 4-0, of course, there's a probability for Liverpool to still lead. And looking at the stand performance in terms of the recent event they have had, the comparison of the home performance for Liverpool, they top this table in the Premier League with a very high striking power, scoring 13 goals in 5 events and conceding 5, to prove that the offense is very good with a good defense. But its opponent, on the other hand, Southampton, have proved that they sit right here in the 17th position with a defensive line that is weak, conceding 13 goals in 5 games, prove that the defense is not good, but the offense is just average. This means that the home Liverpool will take advantage of the weak defense of the away. And looking at this, we want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, the performance of the home team have proved to be very amazing. The offensive trend have proved this, especially in the recent game they have had in the Premier League. And the fact that the defensive line of its opponent is not very tight, we look at the home to take advantage of the weak defense of the away to either lead this match in full time as one of the major picks. Also want to look at least the possibility of 1.5 goal to occur in this match in full time. Looking at the next, we want to look at Germany in the Bundesliga, a match between Bayer Leverkusen against Werder Bremen. The recent performance of Bayer Leverkusen have proved that they are very good. They have had games with Bayern Munich, FC Köln, Hoffenheim, where the performance have been great, especially in the Bundesliga itself. Looking at that of its opponent, Werder Bremen, they have proved that they are not very good. And of course, they do concede too much number of goals recently with a weak defensive line. Bayern Munich has also had a game with Werder Bremen, and Bayern Munich was able to beat Werder Bremen 3-0. But this same Bayern Munich has also had a game with Bayer Leverkusen recently, and they had a draw. This means that the strength of Leverkusen is almost as compared to that of Bayern Munich. If Bayern Munich is able to beat Werder Bremen up to 3-0 and had a draw with Bayer Leverkusen, there is still a possibility of Bayer Leverkusen to still beat Werder Bremen, and also the possible chance of goals. And looking at the stands performance in terms of the recent event they have had, Leverkusen sit on the second place after Bayern Munich, scoring 12 goals in 5 events to prove that they are very offensive. The defensive line also is very good as compared to that of Bayern Munich, which of course meaning that Leverkusen defensive line is very good. But that of its opponent, Werder Bremen, in terms of the recent event they have had, they sit right here in the 15th position with a very weak defensive line and poor offense. We want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, the recent performance of the home team have proved to be very good. And since Bayern Munich has had games with the opponent and had a win, which it had draw with the home team, then of course there is still a possible chance for the home to lead. We look at the home team to lead in full time as one of the major picks, and as well as the possibility of at least 1.5 goals to occur in this match in full time. Looking at the next, we looked at Bayern Munich against Bochum, still in the Bundesliga of Germany. Here, we want to look at the fact that the home team, Bayern Munich, have proved to be very offensive. In the recent event they have had in the Champions League, they just had a game against Bayer Leverkusen, they had a lead. In Eintracht Frankfurt in the Bundesliga, they are very strong. And looking at that of Bochum recently, they have just proved not to be very good. They had a game with Borussia Mönchengladbach. Of course, they had a very big loss. But of course, Bayern Munich is better than Mönchengladbach. And looking at the stand performance in recent event they have had by the performance rating, Bayern Munich, the home, top this table with a very high offensive rate and good defense. They have scored 19 goals in just 5 game play to prove that the offensive line is very good with a very strong defense as well. But that of Bochum, on the other hand, which of course sits right here in the 12th position, have proved that they just have an average defense with an offense which is not good. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, the home team Bayern Munich have proved to be very offensive in recent event they've had. And the fact that the away team defensive line is just average with a very high offense of the home, we look at the home team to take advantage of its very big defense to lead in full time as one of the major picks. Also want to look at the possibility of at least 1.5 goals or 2 goals over to occur in this match in full time. Looking at the next, we looked at England in the Premier League, a match between Crystal Palace against Ipswich. The recent performance of the home team, Crystal Palace, have proved to be good in terms of recent games they have had. In the Premier League against Aston Villa, against Everton, and of course, the performance have proved that they do score a huge number of goals and they do concede as well. Ipswich, on the other hand, have proved that the defensive line is not very good. And of course, looking at the game they just had with Aston Villa, they had a draw 1-1. But this same Aston Villa played a game with Crystal Palace, and Crystal Palace beat Aston 4-1. If Crystal Palace is able to beat Aston 4-1, but Aston Villa is having a draw against Ipswich, it means that the defensive line and offense of Ipswich with Aston is almost of equal strength. But this time they are coming to meet. In other words, Crystal Palace have the favorite. But since the away team also want to impress, looking at the stand performance by the home, Crystal Palace sit right here in the 11th position with an average offense, and the defense is not very tight. Of course, this is good, which of course looking at that of its opponent as well. On the other hand, in terms of the performance by Ipswich, you're going to see that Ipswich also proved that the defensive line is not tight, and scoring 6 goals in 5 game play to prove that the offense is not that very strong and the defense not very strong. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, both of the 2 sides want to impress. And since the defensive line of both sides are not very tight, there'll be more shots on and off target due to impression rate and causing shots on and off target to be greater. Therefore, at least 1.5 goals is what we want to look at, or 2 goals over. Looking at the next, we want to look at Poland in the Ekstraklasa, a match between Lech Poznan against Stal Mielec. For this event, the home performance have proved to be very good in terms of recent event they've had. They had games with Zaglibi, and also they have just recently had a game with Widzew Lot with the win 4-1. This same Widzew Lot also had a game with the opponent Stal Mielec, and of course they had a great loss here 2-1 to prove that the home have upper hand as compared to that of the away. And looking at the stand performance in terms of recent event they've had, the home team by form have proved that they are very good with a very high offensive power. They scored 14 goals in 5 game played, having 4 lead to prove that they are very good. But the defensive line also is very good comparing to that of the away. In terms of the recent event they have had, we are going to see that Stal Mielec is not very good in terms of the defensive line. And looking at this, we want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, of course, the home team want to take advantage of the average defense of the away. And since the home have very high offense, we want to look at it to either lead in full time as one of the major pick. And we also want to look at the probability of at least 1.5 goal to occur in this match in full time. Looking at the next, we want to look at Italy in the Serie A match between Inter against Monza. Of course, the recent performance of the home team Inter have proved to be very good, scoring 2 goals against Lazio. Of course, they also had a game with Genoa where they had a lead. This same Genoa and Lazio has also had games with the opponent, which of course they were able to beat the opponent huge number of goals. Looking at Monza, you're going to say that Lazio also had a game with Monza. They were able to beat it 5-1. Genoa also had a game with Monza. They beat it 2-0. And if Genoa could beat Monza and Lazio could beat Monza, for which of course Inter is able to beat Lazio and Inter beat Genoa in recent event they have had, then of course there's still the performance or probability of Inter to beat Monza. And looking at the stand performance in terms of the recent event they've had by the form based on the recent play, of course the home Inter have proved that they sit on the better place in the 4th position, scoring 10 goals in 5 games to prove that the offense is good. With the defense also that is very good, conceding just 4 goals. And looking at that of its opponent based on the away game played, of course, you're going to see that Monza, the away, sit right here in the last position. With a very weak defensive line, they are not very good. They conceded 16 goals in just 5 games played, and they have not had any win, scoring just 3 goals to prove that the defensive line is very weak. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at 2 to 3 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, the offensive line of the home is very good. And since the defense of the away is very weak, the home want to take advantage of the weak defense of the away. So we are looking at the home Inter to lead as one of the major pick. We also want to look at the probability of at least 1.5 goal in full time or 2 goals over. Looking at the next, we look at Spain in the La Liga, a match between Barcelona against Osasuna. The recent event played by Barcelona against Real Sociedad have proved that they are very good, and also against Atletico de Madrid, Rayo Vallecano. Of course, the offensive strength of Barcelona in recent event have proved that they are good. This same Real Sociedad have also had a game with the opponent Osasuna. They're able to beat Osasuna. Looking at Osasuna game against its opponent Real Sociedad, you are going to see they had a loss. If Real Sociedad is able to beat Osasuna 2-0, for which the home Barcelona was able to beat Real Sociedad, then of course they see the possible chance of Barcelona to beat Osasuna. Looking at the stand performance in terms of the recent event they have had by the form of the home, of course Barcelona proved that the offensive strength is very high, scoring 14 goals in 5 game play to prove that the offensive is good. But the defense is also very tight. This gives a very hard time for the away team to have a goal. And looking at that of the strength of the away in terms of a performance by the striking power, Osasuna is very poor in offense, and the defense is also not good. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For these particular events, the recent performance of the home team Barcelona have proved to be very offensive, and with a high striking power and also good performance in recent games they have had, prove that they have better strength in terms of that of the away. So look at the home team, that is Barcelona, to lead this match in full time as one of the major pick. And if Barcelona was able to beat Real Sociedad 4-0, for which Real Sociedad was able to beat the away team up to 2-0, then there's still a possible chance of the home to lead. So look at the home team to lead, and also look at least 1.5 goal or 2 goals over to occur in this match in full time. And to those of you who want to have access to our handpick events, we will share to members only, as well as having access to our handpick events in terms of corner kicks, goals probability, NBA, and other top leagues events, then of course you want to make sure to join the level 2 pro plan or the level 3 master plan to have access to these features to take your winning to the next height. You also want to make sure you join so that you will have access to the bet class tutorials to start taking your winning to the next level. Good luck and see you again in the next upload, and bye bye for now.